Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 5:30. I'm going to call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Would everybody please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Watts, I'd like to express that, a second grader, struck me on, let's say, the pledge of allegiance the other day and did a really good job.
John does it every morning on announcements and it's made a big difference. at school.
I don't think I was doing anything wrong, but she thought I. You know how that gets. Okay, are there any changes to the agenda?
You do have a revised agenda.
All righty. Community comments. Individuals may present a community comment to the board on agenda items. Please note on the sign-in sheet which item you wish to address and fill out a community comment card at the sign-in table. You are limited to no more than 3 minutes. You may address the board on a topic not on the agenda if it does not pertain to a complaint against a staff member. However, the board reserves the right to refer the matter to the administration. Anyone unable to attend a board meeting in person may submit community comments in hard copy or email to the board secretary. Community comments received by 3 p.m. on the day of the meeting will be included in the meeting. Any comment received after 3 p.m. will be saved for the next regularly scheduled board meeting. Any community comments?
One.
Sir.
Yep.
Actually, we're reading your information. Would you like to add anything to that or? Okay. I will, pass this on and, we'll look into this and we'll get back to you, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
The update on this is we're getting the pricing and a plan from some vendors about what we want to do, how we want to proceed on that,
Okay, thank you, John.
On what?
on testing.
Okay. I would have some comments about that. I mean, later we can have a conversation.
Okay, moving right along, let's move into superintendent's report.
Yeah.
Start.
Poor Josh.
Oh my gosh, poor Josh.
Hidden down there on the bottom. So it's been a busy month. As I stated last week, we're getting ready for the audit. Auditors will be in district next Wednesday. As well as we are working on invoicing and getting all the money back from the summer programs. The district got a lot of, they got summer school money, they got outdoor school, they got kindergarten boot camp, they got the summer workers. There was a lot of activities and a lot of money that the school was able to get this year for summer. I believe some of these, the curriculum is pretty adventure focused, so a couple of kind of fun activities kids got to do this year was, I believe they got to go on jet boats, got to go to a science center, got to do, they got to do a few field trips, so that was really cool to be able to do that with this money and get to have a really busy summer for the kids. So we're working on, getting invoice and getting all that money back. I have received the open enrollment forms that the staff have completed, so I'll be entering those and getting those in before the next payroll. There's been no further updates on high school success. So at this point, I wouldn't really expect anything, at least not in the near future. And I am awaiting enrollment numbers. We based this high school fund off of an enrollment of 590. So getting those enrollment numbers will be big for us to know if we need to make any adjustments. And then any questions about the fiscal report?
What, any idea of, how much money we'll be getting back after you get everything tallied up? Ballpark figure?
Getting back from the state school fund?
You said we were receiving money back from several different.
Oh, yeah, so summer school, they granted us 132,000, I believe. Kindergarten boot camp, I think they were somewhere in the 12 to 17,000 is what they gave us. The summer program was around the same, 15, 17,000 right in there. And outdoor school, I'd have to check that one. I can't remember what that number is.
And 34 grams.
34 grams outdoor.
Thank you. Any questions for Josh? Everybody had a chance to look at the financial? No question?
What's your number? What's your number?
Is there enrollment numbers for the finance?
Just general report and provide the enrollment every month.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's move on to the superintendent.
Okay, so 2 meetings ago, you asked me to start maintaining this journal of concerns, issues that you guys are receiving and turn them into me. Who's turning them in and what they're about. So I can give you a copy of the log, keep everybody updated. That's just for your consumption. Also, we talked about a survey of staff quarterly basis to gain an understanding about the culture in our district and other matters of importance. Had the opportunity to work with both associations, get input from them, tweak the initial draft that Holly Hill gave us for a survey. So this week and next, this survey is being distributed by the associations to their members. They're going to collect those and they are going to tabulate them. Some of the associations members felt that their own associations tabulating the information would ensure anonymity of responses, and that was something that was deemed to be important.
And they're like typing narrative answers.
Yeah.
presumably, So there's
I-
narrative.
Yes, most of this is stuff that can be checked, circled yes, no's, but
Right.
there are a few spaces for response.
Right.
So we'll have to wait. So with the two unions finishing this week and next, and allowing a couple days reasonably for those presidents to tabulate the information, we should be able to see them for an October board meeting. And then if we do this quarterly, we'll have to make sure that it gets out soon enough that it can be available the December, and then in a pattern for that. So this is what the survey tool looks like anyway. Questions on either of those documents?
So these forms will be completed, these surveys will be completed, and they're gonna go to somebody for,
The associations get them out to their members. The members return them to the president tabulates them, and they're to give them to me, and I can report them to you, and then the president's going to ensure that what I'm reporting matches what they gave me,
Association, what do you mean?
unions.
Union,
Unions.
okay.
so if there is a narrative or there is a question to, like, for an example, survey question 1, if there was a narrative to that or a feeling that was written, we wouldn't get to see that? Or is the association president gonna?
The association presidents are going to compile the responses and turn them over. So we are at their pleasure for how they turn that in.
Is there a timeline?
I asked if when we do these on a regular basis, that we can give the membership 4 days to get the surveys back, and then a couple of days for the presidents to respond. I didn't provide clarity on which week I wanted to start. One started this week, one will start next week. So that part's on me. But the expectation is when we get it out, members get 4 days, a couple of days for those presidents, and then get the data as it exists turned into me after that. So approximately just inside 2 weeks.
One of the things I think that we need to be aware of is as with the survey teachers, and this is the natural ebb and flow of life. You know, things might be better in the beginning, and as you get towards May and June, maybe, you know, start to deteriorate a little bit. So I think that data over time is gonna be important longitudinally. Looking at, you know, how things look over a couple of years rather than trying to take a microscopic view.
Tara, if there's a narrative on any of these questions, and when you compile the results, are you gonna forward that? So
Yes, sir, it will be part of my compiling of all the data. Like everything that's on there will be given to you. It just will be given to you without individual names.
Right.
Right.
Sherry, you guys are gonna do the same thing? Okay, super, thank you.
And the narratives are typed, they're not handwritten in any way, so that, you know, nobody has to be worried about identifying handwriting, that sort of thing.
Thank you.
Ron,
You guys think it's,
Yeah, moving on here.
okay,
So those are just some documents for you to look at. From the maintenance work, you hopefully saw the sign to the district office is complete, and landscaping around the district office. And the Highland playground, one of the spruce trees was rotting, and we took that down. And there's been a system established for community members to request chances to come in and collect the firewood off of that. But we're gonna do it in a very organized manner so that we don't have people tearing up their own park, getting in and out. So once they get permission, they go on the list and they follow the instructions of how to enter the park and then not. So it's not, they do have to request an opportunity to collect the firewood, but it's available. There has been work on the grandstands at the high school and the LED lights at the concession stand at the high school. They just completed work in the high school gymnasium on that HVAC unit, that air handler. They shut down the gym for a couple of days, but we're able to do that at a reduced cost by repair than replacing it, which was good news financially for us. And the final punch list for the seismic work has been gone through and completed, and we're finishing up the paperwork at this point, but that work is all done. From the high school, yes, next week, Thursday, the 19th. 30 to 7 o'clock, you're invited to attend their open house. So that's Thursday, the 19th, 5:30 to 7 o'clock. And the board is encouraged to attend the open house. So please, if you have the opportunity, pop in and see how that's happening.
And what building this is?
High school.
High school, okay. Beautiful.
At the high school, they're going to be using a software platform called ICU, letter I, letter C, letter U. It's going to be tracking and monitoring students missing assignments. Parents, guardians, staff members, everybody's going to be flooded with the information about what a student is missing, and staff are getting trained on how to use that as an efficient process to remember. So imagine seeing a student sitting idly at the lunchroom after they've eaten lunch, being able to pull open your phone and realize, oh, there's John's lunch. He's missing 2 assignments in math. Hey, John, looks like you have some time. Why don't you work on your math assignments? And that's them to get work done. Or an English teacher seeing that John's little kid's done, hey, I see you have 2 math assignments. Why don't you spend some time since you're done early in English, completing your math? And so the system of persistence to stay on top of students is a lot of what this program will bring to the high school staff, and then parents obviously being able to tell where their students are missing is going to be helpful. Obviously, fall sports are going on. See the junior high and high school, and we've already had some contests happening. The high school wants to give a shout out to Mr. Shoppy and the custodial crew. They've received a lot of calls from people, a lot of gratitude for how great the schools are looking, especially our grounds. So they want to mention that. And finally, this is year 2 of the house system at the high school. And last year, we recall that they limited with 7th and 8th graders. This year, those 8th graders are 9th graders. And this year, they've included the entire high school staff. So instead of 2 grades now, all 6 grades are participating. Early reports are that it's going along well, and students are taking advantage of the chance to participate and earn and have some ownership in what they're doing. Highland, we have just completed with 3. This is our first full week. The kindergarten students going full days. The first 2 weeks they do a soft start, so they don't arrive until after 9 and they go home about 2. So this week is tough. It's the first time they arrive in the big school with all the big kids around them. You go, they sit the same length of time. So some of them are a little tired. If you've been through the building recently, you've noticed the changes in the morning routine. We have students split up a little differently in the cafeteria, trying to promote a calmer atmosphere. So arriving in an orderly manner, starting out the morning very calm and moving into our announcements so that we can begin our learning day. So some changes to those. This is also the first week of swimming. So lots of extra exertion going on for students there, and just a general good feel about what we're seeing as we go in and out of the classrooms. The learning is happening, and when there is need for assistance and there is need for help, we're able to deal with that quickly, and the teachers aren't having as much interruption to their day. So overall, I think the buildings are off to good starts, and good news. Reminder that next month will be Division 22, and that is the annual report. We acknowledge we have not met the Division 22 standards. I think there's 43 of them, and if we haven't met, what we'll be doing to correct that. That's coming next month. Any questions? I mean, I'm restrained to do that. Okay,
Are they tolerating your dad jokes though?
I get a joke a day, and I don't hear any running yet, but I don't hear anybody. Might be making that up.
Mr. Newman, you're not on the agenda, but I just wanted to pass on. Could you give Mr. Davis a high five there tomorrow, because the pep band sounded unbelievable at football game. It's kind of, it's pretty exciting.
Yep.
They look pretty snazzy in the little pep uniforms too. Yeah, I thought I was back in school, in the early sixties when I saw them march out there. Smoke. Any questions for Joan?
No.
The consent agenda is the actions that are routine or usually call for no discussion. We can, we want to vote on those. Hope everybody looked them over. I had a question, but go ahead.
John, do we use concussion helmets?
Concussion helmets, they've got a concussion, well, okay, the helmets we have to use are NOSCI certified. We have to certify them every year that they are safe and meet the standard for what OSAA and NOSCI, which is the certifying standard spec. And I think concussion helmets, I think the great big extra oversized ones that they're using in the NFL that are practiced only as a safety feature. Now, to address concussion, they do concussion baseline testing, and I forget, Dr. What's his name?
Sorry.
No, the program that we're using. What's that program? There's a program.
There's a federal, yeah, concussion.
Here's the deal. Dr. Keister has it, the program that was OSA adopted for concussion
Dr.
baseline. Keister.
Dr. Keister's in the wrong specialty.
You know. The baseline testing that all the students did, where they're at, they do it through the computer, and if we suspect concussion, the student is put on the same test and give indication of whether or not they are still dealing with the effects of concussion. So our students did that this year. It's got a name for the program, but it's escaping me. Anyway, so that's where concussion gets addressed for sports. It's all sports, not just football.
Coach Phelps is doing pretty good. I watched practice the other day and everything, the members of the football team wore their helmet out on the field. So the young kids are learning quick. I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
A second,
You want to make that motion?
I second the motion to accept the consent agenda as written.
Without the time machine, I'm gonna make a motion to accept the consent agenda. Now you can.
Carries, take care of it.
All in favor, raise your right hand, say aye. Aye.
That's your lunch.
Hey, July, what's the training aid? Is that a laser? Athletic training aid?
I have,
Entire?
when I'm looking at the receipt for donation, the boosters, it's a Free Lap Pro. I've not seen it. For football and track and other instances, timing results. So, yeah, it must be some sort of a short sprint timing device. But I've not seen it. I'm not familiar with it.
Need Joe to give us a report on Lindsay.
I can ask Joe. Reach out what it is.
Okay, that passed. So action items, approve the Sport Educational Enrichment Foundation resolution.
Yeah, so Mr. Jones, that is in your packet behind action items. It's a resolution 1-24-25 dated September 11th. And my recommendation is that the board adopt this resolution, this resolution. This will allow REEF, which is our, one of our good partners, to gain access to the money that they currently maintain in the district and use it in their own processes.
I have an updated number for you and I have a sheet here that will be signed with the updated number.
So the
So
dollar amount.
the dollar amount, yeah. So that way whoever reads it will need that amount.
Okay, so this one here is not correct.
The, yeah, whatever's on there, 90.
Yeah.
So it's 9,000. 395. 46 cents.
This is gonna require a vote of the board, John.
Yeah, you need it,
And
they take an action and read it as the full resolution.
Whereas the chair of the Reach Sport Educational and Richmond Foundation has requested in writing the return of unspent REEF grant funds. And whereas the Reach Sport School District and Board of Directors previously controlled, managed, budgeted, and audited the funds mentioned. And whereas the Reach Sport School District and Board of Directors agreed to transfer all audited funds remaining with the district to the Reach Sport and Education Richmond Foundation. And whereas the Reach Sport Education Richmond Foundation will release Reach Sport School District and the Board of Directors of all responsibilities and oversight of said unspent funds by the receipt and cashing of the check in the estimated amount of $9,395.46 as indicated. Now therefore, the Board of Directors of the Reach Sport School District approves the transfer to the Reach Sport Education and Richmond Fund. All in favor, raise your left hand and say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Yeah.
Thank you. You.
Carefully ask them the action.
You want to add something?
I would like to see about, we're discussing cell phone policy. Are we good for that?
To the action.
To the discussion.
It's a discussion item.
That should be a discussion item.
Discussion. That's what I want, yeah.
Okay.
New for this.
We'll bring that up when we get to discussion
Okay,
after the other
discussion.
35.
So, okay,
Go ahead, John.
the discussion items are quarterly updates to policies provided by OSBA. And I don't think we need to read through them as such, but we need to put the public on notice that these are policies that we're going to be putting on the October agenda. And they're either recommended for delete or update respectively. These are small changes usually that have probably come out of legislation. So one I can recall off the top of my head, number 17, the sexual harassment, there is a required update. And when you read the 6 pages of policy that's there, it's simply a change in the definition of what consent is. So our policy will need a small update. It's listed here, and that will be an example of what these 25 policy updates reflect. Some are for delete, some have small changes, and they can be reviewed now, and then we can consider them on the action agenda for October's board meeting. Yeah.
Are we expecting this, like, even though they're simple, are we expecting this now monthly,
Quarterly.
quarterly?
Yeah. That's about how fast OSB can keep up with legislative changes. Now, when there's a big election year or a big year with a lot of action, usually we'll see a few more, but generally it's a slow trickle comparatively. But yeah, we held off. This might be a combination of the last extended quarters and everything to give you a little bit of break. We don't have too much PTSD. So.
It only took the legislators 6 pages to figure out what consent meant.
No,
That's the
that's-
entirety of the policy, but in those 6 pages, it's only one small change to the definition of consent. And probably something happened in a legal case where they had to be more specific or change clarity. So this policy will reflect updated, you know, new legal situations.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Lonnie, let's go back to your,
I've had a lot of concerns with the use of cell phones in the bathroom. Not only with just, students, but also with staff. And this is what I would like the board to discuss is making cell phones eliminated for staff and for students, with the exception of medical issues. For students, if they have those, it's necessary that they have to have those on them, or administration. My understanding is there's cell phones in every classroom and everything, so there's access to communications. And I want our staff and our students to become more engaged with their education and bring our scores up. I think it's too much of a distraction both ways. So that's kind of where I'm at.
What is the current handbook policy or guideline?
Island, they're not allowed to have them unless there's a medical exception. In the high school, they're not allowed to have them in the classroom during class times. So the lockers are fine, out in the vehicles are fine, passing periods and lunches are fine. Is that correct, Sherry?
So they're not in the class.
They're not supposed to be.
Well,
So you
Can you, we have a work session coming up.
we do,
Could we, address that and hash that out?
if everybody's willing to bring that into that work session, that's okay with me.
I don't know, all we can do is try, that's all Steer can do.
That's all we can.
I have one to add to Bonnie's. I am interested in exploring, probably possibly over the course of a year, the implementation of uniforms in the schools. I think there's some good data on why uniforms can be very helpful. And maybe we add that to our position as well.
Could we bring that up at the work session also? Maybe break that up.
What's the question? No.
Who's gonna pay for the uniforms?
That's part of the
That's good.
conversation.
That's good conversation, or. Okay,
They're actually more cost effective.
community comments. Anything on the screen, Dylan?
No.
Haven't added to the. All right, board member comments. Bob,
I'm good.
fine?
I have to say that I am really pleased to see what our grounds and stuff are looking like now. I was quite impressed when I went yesterday here in the district office to see how well maintained things are. It's a big improvement. We still have ways to go, but kudos to Mike Shopping for making those things happen. Yeah, I think presentation of what we feel that our buildings and stuff is important. I mean, it's not our function, but it's an important, people have visuals. Maybe I want our kids to come to these schools. If they're taking this good care of the outside, maybe they're taking good care of the inside too.
I just hope they have a great start to our school year. My kiddo is having a great school year. She's having fun, enjoying the classes. That's true for all our kids, teachers, staff, parents. They're really love it when school starts. So I just hope it's a really great school year and I'm looking forward to seeing it bring.
Mr. Eden, I have a nephew that goes to Lakeview. And, they have a program down there where they're given, anytime a student goes and does anything for a senior in the Lakeview area, they get community service hours to go towards their graduation requirements. And I was just wondering how, how long it would maybe take to implement something like that for Beach Board.
And you can senior as in somebody over
Senior
a
center.
certain age.
Yeah. Not senior, yeah, senior citizen.
They,
I think we're searching with the senior center or a senior program down there in Lake County, but yeah, I thought that would be, I thought, talking to my niece, it kind of serves two purposes. It gets, the seniors more accepting and trusting the school kids, and also gives them an opportunity to, the kids to get involved with, some of the things that the seniors have to offer, or what it's like being a senior citizen in Lake County and that type of thing. So
We already have that.
we do have that.
Anybody any senior that calls that needs something, we'll put it out there and then they can sign up to do that. I don't know if there's I guess we could probably reach out to the senior center and post something. They wanted additional information or whatever to do that. But yeah, we've had seniors call before and yard work or whatever.
I know that you guys have a list down there, volunteers and stuff, but I just didn't know. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Maybe we could reach out to the senior center
Okay.
and see, implement that.
Yeah. What do you need now?
My list is long, I have 3 bucket bowls I need. Cross-country team would be great with that. No, I was thinking of, a little gal I was talking to the other day. She just started coming down to the senior center and she was having a problem, her fence and some local kids that, hanging on the fence and stuff, and pulling the pickets off, the fence boards off. And I thought, man, that'd be a great idea, just because if them kids went and fixed it or helped her out with that kind of stuff, and they get back to school and say, hey, quit hanging on that fence,
Yeah.
that might work.
Or maybe that's just job security.
Yeah. Another question I had, I should ask you when you're doing your report, how's Uncle Shoppy was gonna do a community committee on things for fixing up and repairing and.
The Facilities Use Committee, Bob Warren is your board member representative on that group. And I think that one time as a committee.
yeah,
um,
next meeting is, 25th.
I think it's 7 people there.
Yeah, so.
6 to 7 people. They're having a meeting, they've got an agenda. From what I saw, in the little bit that I did see, they've got a report they're working from and then able to expand their thinking and their knowledge and expertise to what we can be thinking about, should be thinking about for the future of the school district.
Was that an invite that was put out by the district? What was the?
We reached out to people who we thought had some local expertise, history with the school district. So Mike Thurber, right, who was a former custodian, a long time ago, now at the hospital. As an example, it's just a historical, why were things the way they were, where we're at now, where Michael's at. Trying to kind of gain a wide variety of expertise about what we can do at a facilities level for the buildings and the grounds.
Okay. Future agendas, Friday school this Friday. And I understand Blythe coming to town to play football.
This is our new 5-day school week, so it's a long break. Normally it's a 4-day week and parents know it's off, but we always have 1 5-day week at the start of the year. This is
The work session for the board is Saturday, September 28th, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. I don't think we'll add those 2 big things on there for that session.
That'll be a consideration, discussion, talk about a policy surrounding culture, possibly developing policies surrounding cell phones, and possibly surrounding policy surrounding uniforms. If I captured that correctly.
And is that facilitated or guided by anybody from OSD? Or is it just us?
No, it's us, and I had an activity initially planned to help us look at culture. But may have to rethink, because if we're gonna have a 3-hour work session, now 3 topics, I may shorten up the activity so that we can focus a little bit more specifically on each of these topics, maybe an hour each. So,
Okay, October 9th is the total board meeting. November 7th through the 9th is convention in Portland. Sharman Tipton, our board secretary, will be attending that. November 11th, no school for Veterans Day. November 13th will be the November board meeting. And November 25th through the 29th will be no school because of Thanksgiving.
Wow, thanks so much fast.
I know. Any other questions from any of the board? Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, thank you for attending. We appreciate it very much. Meeting is adjourned.